There's ancient prophecies across the Americas about this very day we're living in. And one of those sacred prophecies that emerged from seven Anishinaabe prophets is the ignition of the eighth fire. And this was passed on to me by my dear uncle, William Commanda, as well. Dave Crochane talked about this, and as well others that I knew in my life. And so I'm sure that others among the Anishinaabe, in fact, Chief Windy, is one of those that keeps that sacred fire. And but on a global basis, in terms of bringing it out in a global basis on October 28th, 2023, in Hidalgo, Mexico, at a gathering of indigenous people and Afro-Mexicanos, which is a great movement in Mexico. That fire was ignited, and at that fire were representation of the human family. For instance, Pato and Antoinette were there at that time. We had relatives from Asia. We had relatives from all peoples were there symbolically. And so from that fire, ashes began to spread. And these ashes were really, they went over to COP gathering in UAE. They went to Sri Lanka, and they were ignited there with the oldest fire we know of that was actually by the indigenous people prior even to the other colonizers coming. It went back 5,000 years, and they lit it in the old way with the old way of lighting a fire. Well, anyway, that spread. And then in 2024, those ashes were brought to Palenque, where the main, where they really began to spread. And what happened was, at that time, Patrick McCollum was there, and he had been there in the year 2000 when they actually excavated what they call the fire of Chaldeer, the fire of Saint Bridget, that is pre-Christian. And that's been kept by the Brigidine sisters from that early days. And then the church, because they felt it was too pagan, they stopped it, but they restarted it back in the 90s. And then Patrick, as I shared, was there when they actually had anthropologists and others excavate down to the original fire, the original one, and they found, yes, there was a fire burning there from the time they said it was. And because he was there, he got a part of that fire, part of the ashes from that original fire. Then when he came to Palenque in 2024, he brought and very quietly added that to the fire, and from there is where, from Palenque, is where all those ashes begin to go out. And so they've gone out everywhere in the world. And as you know, Shonda has been doing such a great job of mailing them out, sending them out. Of course, the same fire was ignited on the 10th of July, full moon in at the Kindred Spirit statue in Ireland to initiate the World Peace Gathering. Those ashes now are being sent out across Ireland. So what I'm proposing is this, that really that fire, it prophesied that it would be ignited at the time when humanity would wake up to the need for global peace. And it's there also to focus on, like we focused to use light on the binding planetary peace treaty in war. But I think that by putting the word out and to all those who received the fire across Ireland, across the world, that on that date, whether it's a small fire, whether you light it with sometimes it even use just a candle. It's like when we ignited the eighth fire in this gathering of 7,000 Sikh relatives in the gathering I was at here in Abbotsford. We just used a candle, and I just put the ashes in the candle to again symbolically ignite that spirit that is with those ashes. Now, it might sound strange to some people that don't understand uh, how how everything's interconnected. But when you ignite that fire, it's like a cumulative spirit that's come from all the lightings. And so I would essentially say that within a certain time period that we reach out and we have the networks. I think as well, I think it's very important to involve in this all those people who signed the treaty to alert them. This is another ignition of what this is really about, and that is ending war and taking those resources from war and reinvesting them in the upliftment of our human family. And so, although signing a treaty is one thing and implementing it is another, I think one of the implementations is bringing about the awareness that the land is sacred. We must do what we can to protect Mother Earth, the fact we are one human family, and that we're acting in unison, in unity. And
Mm.
I think that's what the lighting of this fire from Central Park throughout the world is going to do. It's going to begin giving us this sense that we're really one through that sacred fire, which, by the way, has been, if you think about it, in our early days, every single human being sat before a sacred fire. All of us. There was not one human being did not go to that stage where fire was life
Mm.
and water was life. Every one of us. If you go back to the Old Testament, the early days of Old Testament, the role fire played, the burning bush. I mean, the fire has always been part of that which is sacred. The fire burning away the veils of the ego, fire playing its role, and water, and earth, and air, and the sacred tree. All these are symbolic dimensions, archetypes that our human family responds to. And I think at the same time, I really hope that at that powwow, we can also have a place and some sharing about let's 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 have this also stand for what we should be doing is dancing together, being together, and have a place where people can also through a QR code or whatever how join us in this treaty,
Yeah.
join us in signing the treaty. And we could also ask the places where they ignite the thing, ask them also to join us. Because part of this process of ending war, which is a big, 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 huge elephant in the middle of the room we are not quite looking at yet, is key to ending extreme hunger. It's key to stopping the rapid destruction of the environment and hopefully so it doesn't turn into runaway climate change. It's the key to begin having a future for our children in which war is not listened to and heard about and talked about every day, and the fear that comes from that whole thing. So that's what I would share, brother, about how this sacred fire symbolically could be ignited in people's homes with a candle.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a huge ceremony. It could be three or four people. It's, again, they say, of course, this is from I think many traditions have this, but in Christian tradition, when two or three are gathered together in my name, I'm there. So we know the Spirit's there when we come together. No matter if what faith you have, we know that the fire has been sacred to all faiths.
Yeah.
The Zoroastrians, that was their main thing. They're called fire worshipers. But fire has such significant spiritual significance about burning away the veils of the ego. Fire purifies. fire does these things. And so I think that would be a very added dimension globally of extending that powwow out